Okay, hey everyone. I am here with Frederick Penney, and I first met Frederick. Well, actually, we're actually here at Credit Ninjas Penthouse Mastermind in Las Vegas. And it's, when did you meet Credit?
It's Clubhouse. We're all Clubhousers. All of us.
All of us are Clubhousers.
Yeah.
We met, I think, where I met you was in the manifestation room, and you used to go there because this gentleman is a manifester. And, I didn't have an agenda for what I wanted to talk to Fred about, but I think when you have an opportunity to speak to someone that has come literally from a familiar place that many people know, which is the bottom, nowhere, no money, working really hard. He has an incredible story. I was very inspired by it. I had the privilege of being, I think yours was actually the first, I think your jet was the first private jet I've been on, I think. I mean, it's just like,
it was awesome. It was fun.
It was awesome.
We flew from Van Nuys to Vegas. What did we do in Vegas? It was a bunch of us.
Oh, we did the Thrive.
Oh,
I went to the Thrive Summit. Did you go?
Thrive Summit. Yeah.
Or you just drop us off?
Just one day, and then I left.
Okay.
It was my wife, Kathleen, and I, right? Remember Kathleen?
Yes.
She's awesome.
Lovely family,
She's
lovely,
awesome.
lovely team, lovely crew. Best flight ever. I mean, the pilots are like super gracious. Everything was first class, and I love the fact that I just want to ask you that question. When you were young, growing up, because you're one of how many siblings?
So there's four of us that grew up in a small town in California, 650 population. There was literally.
What's the name of the town?
I'm not going to tell.
Okay.
I'll tell you afterwards, and only you will know.
Okay.
But it's a small town, and we had no money. We didn't care though. We didn't have any money. Carm.
Did you know that you didn't have any money though?
No, because nobody had any money.
Yeah.
And in fact, a friend of mine that's now my in-house tax accountant lived in a single white trailer.
Oh,
and so.
So you at least did you have a house?
No, we had a house. He had a single white.
Okay.
And we stayed in the single white and hung out.
Did your parents rent that house? Or
No,
did they buy
we
the
owned
house?
it. No,
You owned the house.
my mom and dad. My mom was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
My dad was a police officer and a farmer and a rancher. But it was a small. My grandma and grandpa.
Well, he's an entrepreneur then. He had 3 jobs.
Yeah, no, he was not. But he just. That's what we grew up, and it was a great life, Carm. We had no money, and I'll tell you, I'm no happier now than I was then.
Right.
It doesn't matter. And I started picking peaches. So picking peaches to private jets. And that's been my life, kind of business-wise, right?
Okay, so were you picking peaches on your family's farm, or that was a career? Like, tell me about that.
Yeah, no. Actually, our farm was small. We had like 5 acres, and Grandma had 5. We had 10 acres. No, it was all like fruit farms, like plums, peaches, pears. And I went to the Vega Brothers when I was 14, and what I did is I started picking peaches, and I picked peaches as a teenager. And I wanted to play sports, but my dad said, "No, you don't play sports because during the summer we have to work."
Right.
So that's kind of what I did. I did play basketball because it was not during the summertime, right?
Right.
So that's kind of how it started out. And
then, how did you get into the legal field? I mean, a lot of people will ask wealthy people or those who are self-made, did you see yourself where you are now? Did you have this vision that you were going to make it big or have millions of dollars? Like, what was on your mind as a kid growing up, and what brought you to the legal side?
Yeah, I hate to say this because the answer is you want is yes, but the answer is no.
Yeah,
no,
okay. I want the truth. I don't want the fake
I was happy
answer.
with where I was, not content. I'm always happy, but I'm never content. But I knew I was always the type of person that hated to lose. Carm, I hate to lose. Okay. To this day, I hate to lose, and I knew I'm going to win whatever I'm going to do. And that's the way I was growing up. So did I manifest that I was going to be a power lawyer or a business person? No, I didn't. But I knew that whatever I did, I was going to do the best. I was going to be the hardest worker. And that's the way I did it.
Were you academically?
No.
You weren't academic?
No.
Well, you said you just wanted to be the best.
I did, but there's things that you struggle at, and I struggled at that. And then I find out later when I start focusing, I did well.
Okay.
But I didn't care. I cared about girls and sports and cars. That's the only 3 things I cared about. I didn't care one bit, Carm, about anything else. But once I focused on schooling, my dad told me, he said, all I know is at the end of the day, son, there's only one person standing holding the money, and that's the lawyers.
So that gave you the idea to be a lawyer.
Yeah, and then my older brother became a lawyer, and I kind of followed in his footsteps. And then that's kind of how it started. I became a successful lawyer in California. I started my own practice early on. And Carm, everyone told me I couldn't do it. You can't do that.
Who told you you couldn't?
Everybody, every lawyer.
Couldn't do what though?
I can't start your law firm. I was a brand new lawyer, 6 months out. And then I started my own law firm. And they're like, right, you can't start your own law firm. You have to work for someone and learn. I said, no, I'm going to do it. And
so Frederick, what is the name of your current practice?
Well, the law firm in California.
Penny and Associates,
that's
right?
California, and then the national firm's Penny Galbraith Elder.
Okay.
So we're in 46 states with that firm.
Wow. But your original firm was...
Frederick Penney, but Penny and Associates.
And, okay, so were you that person that if somebody told you you couldn't do it, you would do it? And do you think that was inherent, built, someone pushed you as a kid? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, so I was just talking to someone earlier at this wonderful, by the way, Credit Ninja, awesome job. This is a great mastermind here.
Yes.
I was talking to someone, and I've learned one thing. It was easy for me to do things because I was used to not having money.
Right.
So I didn't care if I didn't have money. So as I built my practice and started doing well, making money, I stayed in a little humble 1,900 square foot home, and I learned the 3 words: resist, resist, resist. And I took my money and I started investing.
But what does the terminology of resisting to buy things? Like, what do you mean?
So,
resist the urge to be lavish? Like,
so all my friends, not all, but a lot of my lawyer friends, Lamborghinis, big houses, and what I was doing, taking that money and buying companies, investing in real estate, doing all that. And I lived humbly in a 1,900 square foot home for 10 years.
Did your family know the amount of wealth that you were, like, did any of your kids, your wife know that, oh my God, you could afford to buy a mansion right now? Or did you keep that kind of under wraps? I'm curious.
I think people knew I was doing okay, but I without getting into this, and I don't want to get in trouble, but I got to be careful how I say this because I'm a lawyer, right? I'm always worried about what I say.
Sure.
But wealth is relative, right?
Okay.
And so I believe investing in stuff, and so as the wealth comes in, I just turn it around and purchase other businesses or other stuff. I don't want the wealth coming in, and the people who need the wealth coming in, and want to pay taxes.
It's almost like an addiction.
Yeah, and they want to pay taxes on it.
Right.
But no, I just keep building, and as businesses grow, and as your real estate grows and depreciates, you buy more, and that's kind of that was my mindset as I lived in a humble home. Right?
I love that.
And that's how it built. And then eventually, sure, I could build the big house and the nice cars eventually, but guess what? Most of the time I pay cash. I'm weird. And the accountants say, don't do that because that's not the smart way to do it.
Yeah.
I said, but I feel I sleep at night.
Right. Well, so what makes you happy now? I mean, you've accomplished quite a lot. You've built a lot of wealth. You've got a lot of different projects. So what lights you up? What gets you up in the morning? Is it a number of things?
Well, the first thing is I'm competitive by nature. Everyone says, why haven't you retired? You could have retired. Carm, I'll never retire.
Really?
I just won't retire because I can't help myself. I'm like kind of ADD, so I can't stop. I have to keep going. The second thing that's important is family, friends, relationship, and God. And I always say this on your epitaph at the very end on the stone. I think you get 3 lines. Right? And I'll guarantee
you already know what yours is going to say?
No, I don't. I have no idea. I'm going to let my kids deal with that.
Okay.
I'm not dealing with that.
Okay.
Dad was a weird dude. He was crazy. But my boys and my daughters are very successful, good people. And my kids are older. They're in their 30s now. So, and my one daughter's in her mid-20s. So they're following kind of Dad's footsteps, and they work hard. They're hardworking, and that's what I've learned too, Carm. Is I work super hard.
They got that work ethic from you,
from me, and my wife.
And you
too.
were competitive.
My wife was a hard worker too, but I'm competitive, and they know that, and they're like, "Oh, what's wrong with you, dude? You're mental." Yeah, I do. I'm a little half court low.
Yeah, I mean that's why we're here because
we're all a half court low.
Exactly.
We're a half court low.
That being said, relationships, especially a man at your level, your intimate partner relationship with your wife. I'd love to talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
Whenever we're allowed to.
Oh, I will. I'll talk about her a little bit.
And then, how do you choose the people that you associate with,
Right.
who you're around? Because do people at your level have the cynicism that, is there always that kind of like, what do they want? And how do you choose those relationships? You came here, you flew in your private jet for Credit Ninja Leanne, who we all love.
I'll do that for her.
Right. How do you choose that, and what are the things you look for? I'm just curious.
Okay, I'm going to give a secret.
Okay.
And an old guy told me this when I was young.
Okay.
He said, Fred, marry a solution, not a problem.
Ooh, I think I
Isn't
heard
that
you
amazing?
say that.
I've always said that.
Yeah.
Marry a solution, not a problem. My wife married the problem. I married the solution.
Yes.
Right? So, but the thing
I
is,
quoted you in that magazine.
I know.
I remember.
And so
yes.
that's what you want to do is marry.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, surround yourself with PMAs. Positive mental attitude people. I'm not going to say names, but there's some people who say, well, you got to be tough, right? And I'm tough on you, Fred, because I said, I've got enough people grinding on me, right?
Right.
I want to be around PMAs. I want to be around Carm, who's positive, who's Credit Ninja, who's a positive person.
Mm-hmm.
Get around those positive people, and that's what I found in life. You become successful because the positive people are just going to raise you up. And there's plenty of people in the world that are going to knock you down, so you don't need any of those, right? And so that's what I've done.
And so you have radio shows, you're a public figure. Have you dealt with people who are like trolling, or how do you deal with negativity on social media? Do you get that?
Oh, of course I do, but
Okay.
I don't really care.
Okay.
I'm not here to
love
impress
that.
people. I really don't care. Yeah, I have Radio Law Talk. Listen, I'm not shout out, but my
Yeah, no,
radio
please,
my
shout it
radio
out.
show. I started Radio Law Talk 6 years ago. Got one of the best producers. We're now. I think I know we're over 100 stations carry us, and it's a live, nationally syndicated radio show. It's doing really well, and I've been doing that 6 years, so I love doing that. I do a lot of things. I invest in a lot of businesses, and the law practice continues to boom. But I diversify. I believe in diversifying. But I still, Carm, I remember where I came from. I drive my Bentley. I have a Bentley.
Okay.
I'll take my Bentley and I'll drive back to the country where I grew up, and I'll drive those old roads and remember who I am and where I come from. I never forget that. And you need that balance to say, Fred, you're really nobody.
Right.
Not in a negative way, but stop thinking you're somebody, right?
Right.
And that's
So
what we
you
got.
just always know where you come from.
Right.
It's Valentine's Day today, by the way.
Happy Valentine's,
and
sweetie.
yes, happy Valentine's Day. What was your wife's name again?
Kathleen.
Kathleen, happy Valentine's Day.
You met her.
Yes,
Yes.
I did. I'm just borrowing him for a little bit.
Yeah.
Then we're going to return to the party.
She loves Kath. You met her.
Yes,
Yeah, we had a great
she's-
time.
But you know what? In many marriages where there's one primary partner who's the entrepreneur, who's out and about, a lot of single men and women will ask me, as an entrepreneur, should I marry another entrepreneur? What advice would you give on that situation where somebody's an entrepreneur, someone's 9 to 5? Any opinions on that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you can make most marriages work. There's some that just are not going to work, no matter what, and you can't fight those, right?
Right.
I understand there's going to be times, but I've just learned the two most important words, and my marriage is really successful. And those two words are yes, ma'am.
There you have it. Yes, ma'am.
How high do I jump?
Yeah,
How high do I
who wears
jump?
the pants. That's amazing. Do you plan dates? Are you like, who's the planner, and is spontaneity? Because I've talked earlier. I was doing a talk on Instagram Live, and rather than buying things, I like to invest in experiences, right? Because things you can lose, they don't necessarily have value. How do you show appreciation for your wife and vice versa?
I think everyone's a little different.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, my wife and I have simple lives.
Okay.
People don't realize that, but they think, oh, it's all extravagant. I've got the private jets, the Bentleys, and I'm out and about, and our firm's a well-known law firm in California and our national firm. But the problem is I'm happy, Carm, and so is my wife, sitting on our ranch. We have a ranch with eating mandarin oranges and apples.
Right.
And that's my happy place. And I do
love
that. Like
that.
tonight when we're done here,
Yeah.
I'm flying home.
Yep.
And then I'm going to sit out tomorrow morning before I head into work, and I'll probably we have oranges still on in California. So probably have an orange and sit on my swing, then head on into work, and then keep working, and then I'm flying off somewhere next week and the week after.
Yeah.
But
you enjoy the simple pleasures. I love the fact
we're simple.
that you know where you came from. It sounds like there's a great amount of humility, a lot of gratitude. So how can my audience reach with your audience?
I follow Instagram.
Okay.
I'm an Instagrammer, Frederick Penney 1.
I will.
And so that's where it is. At 5 a.m. in the morning, I'm looking at my Instagram because California time, my East Coast businesses are always up. So that's what I'm doing. But Carm, let me tell you, I really appreciate you. I mean, you've always been so sweet. I'm not trying to do this just because we're on camera, but I remember my wife does not get impressed by very many people. And I said this. I said this to my wife. I was laying in the bed and we were talking in the morning, and she goes, "Now who's going to this thing for Credit Ninja?" I said, "Carm." She goes, "Oh, Carm's going." And she kind of lit up. I was like, "Oh, okay, I know Carm."
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Carm has got the yay from the wife.
You know, I think that there's that saying, I forget who it was, but people will always remember how they make you feel.
Right.
And I'm very empathic, but you have the same effect, Fred. You could be anywhere. You don't have to give advice. You don't have to be here, but I think birds of a feather flock together. So I will take that compliment. Very much appreciate it. And thank you, Kathleen. So anyway, we're going to post Fred, and you can follow him, and we'll be back.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.